The following video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. There's
Is it good though?
no safe like SimpliSafe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now arriving at our Wasco station stop.
On the morning of March 22nd, 2024, the Kern County Sheriff's Office was flooded with calls about an incident that had taken place near the Wasco Amtrak station in Wasco, California. The incident involved a pedestrian who was reportedly walking dangerously close to an active train.
I'm not supposed to light, so yeah, but then I'll have to put him back on though. Fudge.
Lights off, bozo.
Yo, you guys need to start being respectful. Oh god. Weird. Like, complain about everything. Complain about this video, that. Like, always complain like some fucking hoes.
xQcl.
Like legit impossible to just like, oh dude, oh you wanna watch this? I'm gonna complain like some fucking hoes for like fucking 30 minutes. It's like, dude, really? It's just annoying.
Track before being struck by an oncoming locomotive.
This new YouTube is so bad. I can't do the CC. Like,
A situation
I
that authorities knew was likely unsurvivable. Police arrived at the scene shortly after 8 a.m. and were met with the bloody aftermath of the accident, as they found 48-year-old Horacio Ayala Penosa deceased on the tracks, with the force of the impact being so strong that his body was torn apart and scattered all throughout the area. At first, it was believed to have been a clear-cut suicide, but after interviewing some of the witnesses, police learned that the man had never stepped in front of the train, and rather, he had actually been sucked underneath as a result of walking too closely, painting a clearer picture that this was all a tragic accident. But as police were conducting these interviews, one strange detail kept coming up, as apparently, Horatio wasn't the only one on the tracks around the time of the incident, with there allegedly having been one other man standing nearby, a man who took off shortly after Horatio had been killed. And strangely, witnesses believe they saw the man reach down and pick something up before leaving.
This is not the person cut videos.
For the officers on the scene, finding this man became the next obvious order of
scary
business.
online videos.
But by this
You're
point,
wrong.
he had already found himself a few blocks away, where he was spotted by a group of construction workers. The group watched as the man walked towards them, appearing to hold some sort of large item in one of his hands, the same item that had been taken from the train tracks. And the closer he got, the clearer it became what exactly this thing was. It was a human leg.
Wait, Chad, I thought we watched that already. No? No, it's not. Different. But why though?
For some inexplicable reason, when the train had dismembered Horatio, this man had run over and picked up his leg, and he was now waving that leg on the sidewalk of a nearby road, with the construction crew claiming that he had been banging it against the fence as he walked towards them, and at one point had even struck the leg against one of their machines. Upon the realization, a wave of fear washed over the group, as they were unsure what this man had done to get this leg, or what he would do next, though that was something that even the wildest of imaginations could have never predicted.
What? No! What?
As the man looked down at the leg and began eating it, as the workers watched on in horror. Officers arrived on the scene immediately after this, and when they asked the man what he was doing with the leg, he explained that it belonged to him, and that he was taking it to a nearby hospital to have it reattached. But it was obvious to everyone there that this man wasn't missing any of his legs, with the officers having to go as far as to prove it to him by making him roll up the sleeves of his pants and touch both of his legs. His explanation was completely nonsensical, and obviously didn't account for the fact that he was literally eating the leg just minutes before, leading to officers immediately placing him under arrest. His name was Rosendo Tejas, a 27-year-old man who had been experiencing homelessness and had been living on a street near the train tracks, with police determining that he did in fact have nothing to do with the actual death of Horatio. He just so happened to be near the tracks at the time, where he would first witness the accident, and then, for some unknown reason, take Horatio's leg and start eating it. It appears as though this was the result of a combination of both drugs and alcohol, as he was found carrying narcotics when he was taken into custody, and he had just been captured by security cameras purchasing alcohol at a nearby liquor store just hours before the incident. But what's so interesting about this footage is just how normal Rosendo seems. In fact, the people working there knew him quite well, as he stopped in almost daily, where he was described as being polite and ordinary, including on the day of that incident. In fact, it said that at first the shop owners didn't believe that Rosendo could have possibly done this, but it seems that whatever substances he had taken that day had changed him. Rosendo Tejas was charged with 2 counts of removal of human remains and 1 count of destroying or concealing evidence, as well as resisting a police officer, and was sentenced to 1 year in prison after pleading no contest, bringing this absurd case to an end. However, his unsettling behavior will forever live on in one of YouTube's darkest videos.
Interesting.
Fun of Halloween should not include mischief.
That's pretty crazy. Surely he's going to be helped and they're going to give him some tools to rehabilitate and not just put him out.
It was just past 10 p.m. Safely tucked away in her second-story apartment, 20-year-old Hannah Vivaretti set up her phone to record a video of herself dancing.
Ciao. We saw this one, unfortunately. Some guy comes in the house and whatnot, right? You guys, we saw the whole thing like in detail. I don't want to be rude and ruin the vibes, but we like in detail. It was like a 30-minute video. You feel me?
3 years.
What? No, we watch it in detail.
And all this is happening before a break-in even occurs. Whereas with old-school systems, by the time the alarm goes off, your home has already been breached. It's peace of mind in the place where we should all feel most at peace, which means the terror can end when the credits roll. And if you want to feel that same peace of mind, you can save 50% off your Slack.
Alright, hey folks, this is Noah, getting my blog live. Trucks and lots of trucks.
This is the very first footage that Noah Harpham would post to YouTube. After years of having a channel, Noah finally decided to give uploading a try, posting this inaugural video to a self-titled channel on October 29th, 2015, titling it 102915, video blog number 1, and introducing himself to the platform with a simple, "Hello world," in the description.
No, but I did want to dissect just the beginning of a sermon given by a Pastor Bill, a guy that my dad has been following, taking ideas from for 10 years at least. He and his family.
Brother, this
in
guy
the
is
video, Harpham
busted.
paces throughout his home and discusses a priest named Pastor Bill, whom he believed was influencing his father and his family, and clearly not in a good way.
I've been ignorant of it for a long time, so I wanted to look at it, and I challenged him just to look at 15 minutes of this sermon.
Though he gives no context as to who this pastor is, only mentioning that he had been ignorant of the situation for a while, and that this video was his response after trying to expose the truth to his father.
Been waiting, and haven't heard anything. So I was going to just post my reply, and I guess that's how I'll start my blog.
Again, what this truth is unclear, as the lack of information makes this video a confusing watch, and ultimately it tells us very little about who Noah was, let alone the other people he was discussing. But he did end the clip by making it clear that this was only the beginning of what would be a reoccurring blog series that would showcase just him, his thoughts, and his camera.
The blog is just going to be...
What is he wearing headphones and is the music playing in the house and headphones? Or earbuds? Like, is that both? Or is that so loud that we can hear it right now? I don't get it.
Me with video camera.
So both, huh?
And that'll be it. We'll see what happens.
But before those uploads would come, Noah had pinned a website in his description
He
that
looks
directed
high,
users
yeah.
to a blog
Like,
post written by him that same day.
Some
titled,
psychedelic shit.
"Is my dad in a cult? Even worse, is it satanic?" Throughout the writing, Harpham loosely provides additional context for his video, as he breaks down a sermon given by Pastor Bill, who is shown to be Bill Johnson, a well-known preacher from the Bethel Church in Redding, California, who had garnered a large following online. And despite the sermon being over an hour long, Harpham goes through it point by point, critiquing everything that he said, and the more he typed, the more angry he got. And the more angry he got, the more nonsensical his words became. "I'm attempting to present a case that shows the leader of this prestigious institution, along with a select group of rulers, are using mind control techniques to poison and confuse legions of useful idiots that slave away to keep the institution humming along, and that this man, Pastor Bill Johnson, and his ruling caste are using mind control to keep people imbalanced and ignorant, in a state of perpetual waiting for the material world to be defied, while they themselves are profiting immensely in this material world." Is
guys, narratives like that might be schizo, but kind of a mix. There's usually a mix of truth or, in his perspective, truth, right? Like when you use words like mind control, right?
A furry company made
Guys,
mad about
guys.
her son's dog. What?
Yeah, like predatory, manipulative tactics are a form of mind control. Like it's. Well, I'm not defending anybody. I'm just saying this. I'm just prefacing this by saying this is something that's like that's how you could be in your perspective. It doesn't mean that it's schizo.
while they themselves are profiting immensely in this material world. The blog gives us a peek behind the curtain of the man shown in this video, a man who seems to be clearly mentally unwell, paranoid, and very angry, with the post making it clear that the purpose of Noah's content was to bring this pastor down, and video blog number 1 was supposed to be just the start.
Okay.
However, there would never be a video blog number 2, as just 2 days after posting this video, Noah's life would take a drastic turn.
Colorado Springs 911, what's the exact location of your emergency?
It's here.
Repeat that one more time for me and make sure I have it correct.
Well, it's across the street from me. I'm calling from my address.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Well, there was a guy walking around with like 2 cans of gasoline or something, 2 small cans, and a big, like a rifle. It was black, and it had a strap around it. He's walking up to doors and stuff.
At 8:35 a.m. on Halloween morning, a woman named Naomi Bettis called 911 after witnessing a suspicious man walking around her neighborhood in
Halloween.
Colorado Springs, as she watched him carrying several cans of gas, as well as an AR-15 that was hung over his shoulder. She didn't know it at the time, but this man was her neighbor, Noah Harpham.
And then I seen that he walked into the building, and the glass window at that business is broke.
And that's a business? What's the name of the business?
I have no idea, but I just know I don't know if it's a fake gun, BB gun, but it looks pretty scary.
As the call progresses, Naomi explains that she had watched him enter a nearby business, where one of the windows appeared to have been broken. She wasn't sure if anything illegal had happened at this point, but she was convinced that Noah was up to something sinister, which based on what he had in his possession seemed to be the only logical conclusion.
Alright.
However, this concern wasn't
Chat, what is the link between this picture and the other one? The other picture, I think, was the actual picture, and now it's like an M16, like military with like some tripod thing. Like this looks like some
Felt by
standard
everyone.
issue.
Okay.
Like-
And you said it looked like a long gun, correct? Like a rifle?
Yes.
Well, it is an open carry state, so he can have a weapon with him or walking around with it. But of course, having those gas cans, it does seem pretty suspicious. So we're going to keep the call going for that.
Okay, and the window's broken to that business downstairs, so.
Right. And you said he's now upstairs, correct?
Yes.
Bipod.
And are you or anyone else in immediate danger?
No.
Okay.
as the operator seemingly brushed aside the incident, stating that she was only keeping the call going because the gas cans could be suspicious. However, even with that, the report still wasn't taken seriously, as the dispatcher hung up on her shortly after, before dispatching one single officer to the scene, an officer that never even made it there, as just moments later he was called off and sent to what was deemed to be a more pressing scene at the local senior center. Naomi's concerns were completely ignored, but despite this, she continued to watch out her window, waiting to see what Noah would do next.
Hold on. I don't want to defend anybody. I'm not, but you guys, Halloween night, I'm gonna guess that cops are needed at a bunch of places. There's probably a bunch of pressing calls about a bunch of shit happening, and I could see a scenario where this would fall down in a priority list. I could see it.
4 minutes after her call with police ended, and 10 minutes after first reporting Noah's behavior, Naomi would dial 911 once again. Only this time, her demeanor was far different.
I just called a few minutes ago and the guy came back out and he fired a gun at somebody and he's laying on the street dead. Oh my God. You sent an ambulance too.
Naomi's worst fears had come true, as she frantically told dispatch that the man carrying the gun had just shot and killed someone outside of her home.
Oh my God.
Okay, calm down, okay? Stay with me. I'm just putting that into the call. Is anyone in immediate danger?
Useless cops for real.
Not that I can see or think. No.
In response, the operator bizarrely asks if anyone else is in danger, but Naomi, likely in a state of shock, answers no, before immediately realizing that Noah was heading in the direction of Platt Avenue, which was known to be a busier neighborhood.
Maybe on Platt Avenue there might be people in danger.
Naomi, I need the suspect's description. Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
Okay, is he white, black, Hispanic,
He's
Asian?
white, and he's got long curly hair coming out of his cap.
She desperately tried to relay that more people were likely in harm's way, only to be immediately proven right just seconds later.
I think, yeah, there's people outside that might be in danger up on Platte.
Okay.
Oh, I just heard another fire. Oh my God.
When she hears more gunshots, prompting the operator to once again ask,
Yeah, they need to call an ambulance or something right away.
Okay. Is anyone in immediate danger?
Only people up on Platte, maybe.
All right, I am sending the paramedics to help you.
Chat. Hey guys, I'm usually really nice with videos with dispatchers because I know they're sending the help that people need. Even though in the call they're asking questions or whatever, they're still doing the right thing, whatever. But this person is actively stalling the call by asking shit they already asked. Like, what the fuck?
The line, and I'll tell you exactly what to do next, okay?
It was only then that the operator would tell Naomi
already
that
asked and
police and
answered
medical
it.
personnel were finally being dispatched to the scene. But by this point, it was far too late. In the moments after Naomi had made her first 911 call, Noah Harpham would first attempt to light his house on fire using the 2 cans of gasoline. Though this, however, failed and caused him to quickly shift his focus. Noah instead stepped outside and brandished his rifle, immediately pointing it directly at Andrew Mayers, who had been riding his bike in the neighborhood. And after seeing the gun, the man stopped and begged him not to shoot, to which Noah responded by pulling the trigger multiple times, killing him instantly, with Andrew Myers being the man that Naomi had seen laying dead on the street. From there, Noah began walking up the street where he would eventually see 2 women sitting on the porch of a sobriety center
8 in the morning.
where local women went to get help with their drug and alcohol addictions. And upon noticing them, he immediately started shooting, striking and killing both Christina Galella and Jennifer Vasquez. Noah walked for over a mile after this before the police finally caught up with him. And when they called out for him to stop walking, Noah turned and immediately opened fire, leading to a massive shootout.
A mile on foot. Walking. How much is that time, man? Time-wise?
When the smoke
15?
cleared, the only one struck had been Noah, who was lying dead on the pavement, marking the end of his killing spree. The investigation that followed revealed that Noah had never even met any of the 3 people he killed that day. They were all total strangers, leaving the question, why had he done it? Well, even today, there's still no clear motive, with this appearing to be a completely random and senseless act.
Some
But looking at
psychedelic
his final
psychosis.
and only posts online.
Guys, I didn't see this video, chat, but you could probably debunk this if you dissect this video, do a bunch of like cues or whatever, and you could debunk
Noah
this.
was clearly very angry
At least a little bit.
and seemed to be mentally unwell,
At least a little
which
bit.
was corroborated by testimony from his parents, as they later claimed that he had anger issues and suffered from drug addiction and bipolar disorder.
Oh, okay.
But what's so unusual about this to me was that this video was published just 2 days before the killings, and it was clearly not meant to be a one-off post. It was something that he seemed genuinely excited to continue, yet not even 48 hours later, he resorted to this. What happened in that time frame may never be known, but the effects of it will last forever. And I can't help but wonder how differently this all could have gone if that initial 911 operator had just taken Naomi's report seriously. Noah's spree didn't start for a full 10 minutes after she started that call,
Guys,
which would have been more than
I never want to put blame on some people without knowing exactly. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what happened. This is some internal shit, but dude, what if the call was passed on exactly how severe it was to other people, and then the higher ups cover like, no, we can't, no, we're not doing this. Dispatchers just doing dispatcher job. Yeah, she's doing a bad job, and I get it, right? But we don't know how what made the decision to attend or not. Like that's not
enough time for police to
that's
intervene.
past her pay grade. Like,
But
what?
instead, Noah was given all the time he needed to end 3 innocent lives. It wasn't an attraction for the faint of heart. Standing over 1,300 feet above the
I hate
ground,
those.
the Deoghar ropeway was built to take tourists up and down the Trikut mountain in Jharkhand, India. It was the tallest cableway in the entire country, offering an unparalleled view of Deoghar and the picturesque landscape around it. Because of this, videos have long since been posted on YouTube showing just how dramatic of a ride this truly is, with one such video being recorded on April 10th, 2022.
Dude, hell no. It's wobbling.
That day, a woman and her family had been filming their adventure to the Trikut mountain, and were now filming a first-person view of the descent back down. It wasn't the kind of place for anyone with a fear of heights, and the loud sounds of the car passing the support towers only added to the anxiety of the trip. But the group filming this all remained relatively calm, quietly conversing to themselves, seemingly unfazed by the spectacular height. Even enjoying it. A feeling that wouldn't last.
I'm not afraid of heights, but being in those is like odd.
Without any warning, the car was met with a massive force, sending the occupants and the camera to the floor, causing the footage.
Oh, can I go back?
The car was met with a massive force, sending the.
Dude, unless there's a bug with the shutter speed of the camera, this shit fucking went crazy. No.
Occupants and the camera to the floor, causing the footage to go dark. In that moment, one of the ropeways axles had to slide,
that's insane,
causing
though.
a failure on the pulley system, which resulted in 2 carts crashing into each other, and the rest coming to a sudden and violent halt. The impact was brutal, but somewhat surprisingly, the footage continued. Showing just enough to reveal that the ropeway and the cabin these people were in were both still intact, before the recording came to an end. This group had survived the impact, but the nightmare was far from over. News of the collision quickly spread throughout the region, leading to the scene being flooded with rescuers and news crews alike, with everyone trying to figure out what exactly was happening, and the initial prognosis was grim.
Okay.
In the impact, 1 man in a separate car had been killed, and many others were left injured. And making matters worse, due to the broken axle, the ropeway was now no longer operational, meaning that the 70+ people spread throughout the various cars were now stuck, some of whom were still suspended over 1,000 feet in the air. It was going to be an incredibly difficult rescue operation, just given the height of the ropeway alone. And ultimately, it was determined that the Indian Air Force would utilize their special top-of-the-line helicopters to fly over the cars and lower down ropes with harnesses attached to them for survivors, who then would strap themselves in and be hoisted up to the helicopter above using an electronic winch.
That was going to be my
It took hours for them to even make their first attempt, before finally trying their approach on a middle-aged man, who slid on his rescue strap and was then slowly pulled up towards safety.
Chat, these helis can be a little crazy.
The footage of this is horrifying. These people were already over 1,000 feet in the air when their cars got stuck, and now they were being lifted even higher, tethered only by a single rope and a safety harness. Worst of all, it was a particularly windy day, which was made worse by the swirling of the helicopter blades, a combination that caused the man to start swinging wildly from side to side as he hung onto the rope for dear life.
Well, that comment was a little bit useless, like.
It was a grueling journey up, but finally the man reached the aircraft. And with safety just a few feet away, he instinctively reached his arms above his head in an attempt to grab onto the helicopter, a decision that would have disastrous effects. As he did so, his harness slid upwards and was pulled over his shoulders, and then over his arms, before eventually landing in his hands, meaning the only thing left holding him up was his own grip, as he clung to the now useless harness. For a full minute, he dangled there, just inches away from rescue. Meanwhile, the rescue crew searched the craft for something they could use to safely hoist him in. But before they got the chance, the man slipped out of his harness, momentarily catching himself on the side of the helicopter itself. But by this point, his
isn't that somebody pulling him up?
strength was gone, and seconds later, his grip would fail for good.
It looks like somebody.
Causing him to plummet approximately 2,000 feet to the ground below, killing him instantly. For those waiting to be rescued, the sight was especially horrific, as they watched the man who they thought had made it to safety fall to the ground right in front of them. The fear they must have felt knowing that soon it would be their turn is unimaginable. After this, the rescue crews began making tweaks to their operation, which started to lead to a few attempts going off without a hitch. But the entire process was incredibly slow, as a full 24 hours would pass before 60-year-old Shubha Devi would finally get her chance to be removed from the car. And as she started her ascent up to the helicopter, the wind also caused her to start swinging wildly. So wildly, in fact, that the winch used to lift her suddenly stopped working, leaving her hanging there, only moving side to side rather than up towards safety. As she hung there, rescuers on the helicopter frantically tried to figure out what the problem with the winch was. But before they could ever get their answer, the rope suddenly snapped,
What?
causing her to free fall to the ground below. It came without any sort of warning, and from what I can find online, there isn't a definitive answer as to how this happened, but either way, it resulted in Shubha's tragic death. It took a total of 48 hours for the last of the survivors to be rescued and finally brought to safety, an unimaginable amount of time in an unimaginable position, with survivors having to watch two people fall to their deaths before them, unsure if they too were going to meet the same fate. Since its release, the footage has sparked some debate online, as the media actually hailed this as an impressive and even successful rescue operation for the Indian Air Force, while others have hit back on this, as both incidents seem to have been entirely preventable, with more people dying from the rescue than the accident itself. Though ultimately, there were no repercussions for the rescue crew, with the only punishments
People that aren't technically in immediate danger, unless something changes, takes forever, and then two people die. That's not success. What? Bro, any casualty when there's not some bit, like, I don't get it. I'm
being
confused.
dished out to the
That
operating
is,
company
there's no success here.
DRIL, which was accused of not properly maintaining the ropeway and not following proper safety protocols. It was even alleged that when the initial crash happened, the people operating the ropeway at the time actually fled the scene and never even called authorities. But I'm not sure if this was ever actually proven. DRIL was fined over $1 million and has since been blacklisted from operating ropeways for 5 years, while the families of the deceased were given around $33,000 in compensation. Currently, there are plans to repair and reopen the ropeway, though at this point, no official date has been given for the reopening.
That's awful. Yeah, this is like some Final Destination shit though, no? Like, actually terrible. Brother, like, what the fuck? Also, I want to be debunker Andy right now, but this looks like somebody. That looks like somebody.
Bastard holding him up was his own grip.
Look, there's nothing here, right? It's all intact, all black. Door.
As he clung to the now useless harness.
Right? Then he's gonna lose his grip and then latch on.
For a full minute, he dangled there, just inches away from rescue. Meanwhile, the rescue crew searched the craft for something they could use to safely hoist him in. But before they got the chance...
See that? Boom. That's somebody. That's gotta be. That's, I think, head or shoulder. And then that's arm. Boom. And then he's holding his arm.
The man slipped out of his harness, momentarily catching himself on the side of the helicopter itself.
I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm trying to remember this, but once you're there, I get honest with you, like, in most scenarios, they can win this, no? They could definitely win this, no?
But by this point, his strength was gone, and seconds later, his grip would fail for good. Causing him to plummet approximately 2,000 feet to the ground below, killing him instantly. For those waiting to be rescued, the sight was
Terrible. Terrible incident. I'm not watching this very long. I think for the guy inside to hold on to, I think that makes sense. That makes sense, right? But he has enough strength to at least hold him. Probably maybe pull a little bit. I feel like the guy with his right arm. No, maybe I'm missing a piece of information. What else?